Hi, bienvenido a Multilinguals. Today we're going to discuss the Spanish alphabet and the differences that it has with English. Let's start by the first letter. In English, this letter can have different pronunciations. In Spanish, it doesn't. It just has one. So whenever you see the letter A, you are always going to listen to the same sound, which is A. A. So you have to remember this sound because whatever word that uses this letter, you are going to hear the sound A. A. Then we proceed with the consonants. In English, we usually say the consonants with an E sound, such as, for example, B, C, D. In Spanish, however, the sound will be E, such as B. So this letter, we say B. It depends on the country. They can say B larga, they can say B alta, but it's always B. So if you say B, you're going to be understood. B. Here we have C. C. You see the E sound at the end of the consonant? We call it C. C. How do we call this one? You probably guessed it. The. The. Now this one is a tricky one for English speakers. This is called E. E. It's a short sound, E, and it's always going to be the same vowel sound. It's always going to be E. E. This one is called F. F. Now this one is called G. G. Repeat with me. G. Very good. G. Now this one has a very special name. It's called H. H. It's like you're sneezing a little bit. H. But we do not pronounce it. There are many words that have the H letter in their spelling. We just don't pronounce it. There are many words in Spanish with the H in them, but we do not pronounce them. We don't have that aspirated sound, ha. We just don't say. It's mute. So whenever you have a word that takes this letter H, you just don't pronounce it. You just leave it there. This is called E. E. It also can be tricky because of the pronunciation that it has in English, which differs a lot from the pronunciation that it has in Spanish. This one is E. E. It's a short sound, E. This one is called J. J. It is aspirated as the English H. H, that H sound, well, we call it J. J. And it has that H sound of the English H. We don't have many words in Spanish with this letter. We have some words such as kilo, kilogram, but we don't use it a lot, but it's called K. K. Then we have the letter L. L, such as elephant. L. How do we call this one? M. 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 This one is very easy also. It's very similar. N. 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 What about this one? This is the letter that makes the Spanish alphabet different from the English one. This is a letter that the English alphabet does not have, or any other language. This is called ñ. It's like an N with a little thing, which is called tilde, on top of it. That little thing makes the N turn into ñ. Ñ, which sounds similar to the NY as in the word canyon. Canyon? That ny sound is very similar to the Spanish ñ, such as in mañana, morning, mañana. O. O. This one can be a little bit tricky, especially for English speakers. We tend to say O, such as when they say taco, taco. We don't say taco, we say taco, taco. So we take out that oo sound at the end of the O in English. You do not round your lips ending in an oo sound in Spanish. We say O, O. We don't say O, we say O, O. Then we have the P sound. We call it P, P. In English, when you pronounce the P sound, you produce air through your mouth. If you put a sheet of paper in front of your mouth and you pronounce P, you are going to produce air. In Spanish, we do not do that. So for you to be able to make this sound as a native, try to remove the air when you pronounce the P sound and you say P, P, P. This one, the Q, is called Q, Q. Then we have a difficult one. This is called R, R, R. We tend to call it R, especially when there are two of those in the same word. We say R, or we can say doble R. That means double R. Sometimes when it is alone, we can call it ere, 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 right? So try to think when you say the word butter, butter. You see that thing that you do with your tongue when you pronounce the word butter? It's very similar to where you have to put your tongue to say R, R, and you have to roll your R's. It can be a tricky sound, but eventually you'll master it. R, R. Then you have the S, we call it S, S. We have the T, and we call it T. And it's the same thing as with the P. We do not produce any air when we pronounce the T sound. So we say T, T. If you put a sheet of paper in front of your mouth, there shouldn't be air puffing, such as in T in English. The U, we call it U, U. So in English, we start with a sound and finish with another. We say U, U. You see my lips? They round at the end. U, U. In Spanish, we do not do that. We just say U. So we start with a rounded sound altogether. We say U, U. And our lips do not change as we are pronouncing the letter. We just say U. So round your lips and you say U as in food. V. This is called V. And it depends on the country where you are. You can hear V. You can hear V corta, which means a small or short V, as compared to the other one, B, that we call it V larga. It also can change to UV. So in another country, you can hear UV. It's the same with this letter. It's called W, W, that means double V. You can also hear in some countries W, such as Spain, which says W, which means W. This one is called X, X. There are only a few words in Spanish that take this letter X. Then we have the Y, Y, which literally means Greek I. In spelling, when we read this word, it sounds the same as the letter I. It sounds E, E. So for example, this letter by itself means and we say E, E. And the last one is called zeta, zeta, which in Spain is going to be pronounced such as theta, theta, with your tongue sticking out.